Attention all activity providers, let me introduce you to the official sponsor of the Start, Grow, Scale podcast. Meet Pebble, the award-winning platform that will help you manage your admin and streamline your day-to-day business, freeing up your time to focus on what you love, running your fantastic activities for children. Why choose Pebble? It's simple. Fast setup, intuitive platform, and hands-on customer success team. Ready to spend less time on admin and more time on creating incredible classes? Visit bookpebble.co.uk and join a community of over 1,000 activity providers today. Quote the code CHRISSY24 when joining to get your first month on the platform for free. A children's activity expert here in the UK, working with providers across the globe to help them start, grow and scale their children's activity business by unlocking their potential to maximise their income so they get to do what they love. Hello everyone and welcome back to an episode of the Start, Grow, Scale, your children's activity business podcast. And today's episode is coming to you live from outside. I'm just out on a walk right now and I thought, you know what? There's things fresh in my mind from all the conversations I've had today. So I'm bringing you a podcast from outdoors. My podcast editor's probably going to complain about the sound quality, but let's go. Let's see what it's like. So in today's episode, I want to talk about to franchise or not to franchise your business, because it's a conversation I'm having right now with lots of providers. There seems to be at the minute loads of inquiries coming in from providers who are wanting to scale their business through a franchise model, and they're looking for advice to find out, A, is franchising right for them, or is it licensing, or is it something else that's going to enable them to scale their business? So I have this little quiz which I offer out to anyone that inquires with me, which literally takes, 10 minutes to complete. It's a quiz to see how franchise ready your business is. And I always get people to complete it, and it gives me a whole picture of where the business is right now and identifies the gaps in terms of what they need to get done in order to make sure the business is like franchise ready. And then I get on a free discovery call with them. And I do this because A, I want to meet the business owner to find out more about them and their business, and to talk them through the results of the quiz. Now, when we're doing this process, I'm obviously taking them through what franchising your business involves, because it is a process. And if you're going to franchise your business, you need to do it properly. You want to make sure that you've got all your I's dotted and your T's crossed before you go out there and put it into the world. Because if we're really honest, the franchise industry in the UK is not regulated. So anyone can actually come into the sector and franchise their own business. And lots of people do. Some people do it unethically. They just set up and get going. Some people will make sure their business is tried and tested, which is what you should do out of good practice before you start obviously inviting people into your world and into your team. Now, we've got to remember, you have to be the right type of person to be a franchisor. It comes with a lot of responsibility. So I'm always really keen to talk to the business owner first about what is their vision, mission and values. What is it that the whole business is about? What's the ethos and what's the purpose? And if this business is going to have an impact on children's lives, that's really crucial to me as a consultant, because I don't want to just work with anyone and I don't want to just help anyone franchise their business. It's got to actually have vision, mission, values, purpose and a reason for being here on the planet Earth, and it's got to have some sort of meaningful impact on people. But I also want to make sure that people who do decide to franchise their business are the right types of people to be a franchisor, because like I said, it comes comes with a lot of responsibility. When you bring someone into your world, into your team, not only are you running your own business, now you have the responsibility of helping them run their business and be successful with it. So it's not an easy transition, and it does take that type of person. And you are going to have times when the business is going really, really well and you're on cloud nine, and you're going to have times where the business is not going well. It is a roller coaster of emotions being a franchisor, and you have to be resilient. You're going to take punches. There's going to be times when there's going to be people leaving your team, or you are exiting people out of the business. So it's not all rose-tinted glasses, as I'd like to say. Yes, we all want to build an amazing network, and I did that with Mess Around. But don't get me wrong, there was mistakes I made. Like, if you bring the wrong people into your team, you're going to pay for it. Like, you are totally going to pay for it in the long run. So it's about, making sure that you're in it for the long-term game. Like I say to people, this is at least 10 years plus. Do not expect that you're going to scale your franchise immediately in the first few years, because it takes time to get the model right. It takes time to bring the right people into the business, to give them the right training, the right support, the right nurturing to grow a team. And that doesn't happen overnight. You've got to be in it for a long term. So that's the first thing I say to them. You do realize that this is going to take time. You're going to be in this for the next 10 years, living and breathing your franchise. So are you up for that? Because that's what I want to know. I want to see some fire in their eyes, some fire in the belly, that they've got the passion and the belief in their brand, because when times are hard, you're going to need that. Okay, so those are the first things I find out from them. Mission, vision, values, ethos, purpose. Are you the right person to franchise and lead a team? Those are the things I'm looking for in terms of when I'm meeting with someone. And then obviously there's the whole process part about recruitment. We don't just sell franchises. You don't sell a franchise, you award a franchise. You're bringing someone in to your world and trusting them with your brand. So we don't just sell, we award, because we want to make sure that our brand is championed and that they respect it and that you're trusting your baby with them. So we're not in the game of selling franchises. So if anyone is in that game right now, you're in the wrong game, okay? And we've got to get the pricing right, because if you don't have the right price structure, you will attract the wrong people, and then you end up with all the issues that I spoke about earlier, where you're possibly exiting people, or you've got people leaving, or they damage your brand. And that's the last thing you want. So finding the right people to bring in your team is crucial. And then there's the recruitment strategy. How do I bring people into my world? Yeah, you're going to start off organically. That's where you're going to find the most biggest impact. That's what happened to me. We were very central based Midlands, and we grew from there. But afterwards, you've got to invest. You've got to invest in paid ads. You've got to invest in discovery sessions, webinars, all sorts of things, recruitment funnels, the whole shebang. So it's not an easy process. It means it goes back to the point, are you in this for the long game? Because this isn't a short win. So we have to have all our systems in place. And that's what I help franchisors with right now, because I say to them, well, what's your system? And I go and download the prospectus, and then that's all I get is this prospectus and nothing else. Now, you can't expect people to buy from you on the first touch. Nobody knows you. They don't like you, and they don't trust you. You've got to nurture all your leads. So you have to have a system to do that. And I've had people that sat on my email list for 2 years before they joined our team. So you've got to have that recruitment strategy in place. So if you are currently thinking about, do I want to franchise my business? Because that's the first thing. It's like, do I want to franchise my business? Or do I want to license it? Which is different. So if you look at licensing, you look at people like Zumba, those are licenses. And obviously there's a difference between a franchise and a license. And I've actually got a little training on that, which I'll put the link into this podcast, because it talks about, are you best being a franchise or a licensee or going independent, and that explains all the differences. But you have more flexibility with a license if someone takes that on. But as a person that owns the brand, you don't have as much protection as you would do with a franchise. Or is there another way? Like you know, maybe franchising isn't for you, licensing isn't for you, but you still want to scale your business in a different way. And that could be through a product, like an online product. There's lots of different ways to scale your business. And it's just finding the right avenue for you to go down that suits you as a person, you as a business owner, and that's the way you decide if that's the route you want to go. And that's the conversations I'm having right now with providers. And I love having these conversations because then they get the reality of scaling their business, and then they can explore the different options and see what's the best option for them. And if franchising is that, then I totally can help you with that. If it comes with the caveat, if I believe in your mission, your vision, and your values, because I don't just work with anyone. I want to make sure that you actually have a purpose and a focus, and you're in this for the long term and to make an impact, because we need to be ethical. So important to me. We're not just in the game of trying to take money off of people without actually putting all our processes, procedures, systems in place and making sure everything's set up correctly. So if that's you right now, come and have a chat with me, book in for a discovery call, and let's have a chat about how to scale your business. And like I said, it could be franchising, could be licensing, or it could be something else. But there's definitely different ways, as I say, to skin the cat. Poor cat. We don't want him really skinned. But no, there's different ways to scale your business, and not all routes. You don't have to go down one single avenue in order to scale your business. So if you've enjoyed today's podcast, or you think this podcast would be relevant to someone you know who's thinking about franchising, licensing, or scaling, send it over to them so they can have a wee listen. I would love it if you would rate this podcast, subscribe to the podcast, tell other people about the podcast, so I can help more business owners start, grow, and scale, and by unlocking their potential to maximize your income. Have an amazing day, and I will catch up with you all very soon.